I've been training clients for the last 15 years. And for the last 11 years, I've owned my own gym. I've been very privileged to be in a position to be trusted by others to guide them through their health and fitness journey and to train others to be able to do the same as well. But for the first probably, let's say, 6 or 7 years of my career, I was focusing on the wrong audience. So I was coaching in a CrossFit gym and I purchased that CrossFit gym in 2015. The good thing about CrossFit is it's not like Starbucks or Macca's. It's an affiliate model. So in that affiliate model, you can use your own methodology. You don't have to follow a constantly varied functional movement, high intensity. I implemented a patient, consistent, long-term, intimate coaching environment. And the challenge was using that in a CrossFit gym. The audience that was coming to CrossFit was looking for one thing, and I was in there being the good-meaning, well-meaning coach offering another thing. And unfortunately, those two things banged together. So my audience at my CrossFit gym was predominantly 18 to 40 years old. And so my methodology worked, as we'll find, worked much better for a different age group. But at the time, trying to implement a patient, consistent, long-term approach on a group of, or an audience of people who wanted to experience burnout rather than fade away, grip it and rip it, wanted to get better at their friend time, wanted to get better at X, Y, and Z. And unfortunately, there was a fair bit of headbanging because the desire from the client and the methodology from the coach weren't working well together. The saving grace, absolute saving grace for me as a coach, because I was getting pretty fucking disenchanted with coaching. The saving grace was running a program for people over 50 in 2017. At the time, completely against the grain of what everybody else was doing locally and probably nationally here in New Zealand. We ran it for people over 50. And wow, it was gangbusters. I couldn't keep up with the amount of people who were interested in the introductory sessions we were running for it. So much so that we ran 4-on-1 introductory sessions. 4 people would turn up and I would try and gatekeep 4 different people's desire to tell me about themselves. We don't do 4-on-1 intros now. We do 1-on-1 intros now. But at the time we were learning on the fly. But what the fantastic thing was, we got 12 people to sign up to a program that we'd never run before. Now, one of those people is very, very dear to my heart. So Jackie Awa, local legend here in Wellington, highly revered man, have a great deal of mana. So in New Zealand, mana means respect. My first couple of meetings with Jackie were quite challenging. Jackie came as a proud Māori man, but Jackie came in a position of ill health. His doctor had told him that if he wanted to see 68, he had to do something different than he was doing at 67. He had immensely high blood pressure. He was prediabetic, cardiovascular issues, and a long family history of people dying far too young. Meeting Jackie was the realization that I could find a new audience to coach, that I could find an audience of people that were suited to the skills that I was imparting on my current client base. And it was absolutely wonderful experience. So Jackie trusted us when he had no real reason to do so. And I think that the patient and consistent, intimate coaching environment that we created starting coaching in 2012, 2013, and running this program in 2017 enabled Jackie to trust in advance, to trust before he actually saw any evidence of what we were going to do in our program. And so that was the realization I found, that people who were best served by me weren't people who wanted to max out their snatch or PR their friend time. There were people who wanted to live a longer, healthier, happier life, or just live a little bit longer and a little bit happier. And so Jackie became my greatest success story as a coach. And something that I am immensely proud of is that come, 9 years, Jackie now coaches our Legends program, our beginners program for people over 50. To see a man go from a fair amount of physical stress to look younger now at 74, 75 than he did then at 67, 68, to be a good influence to his grandchildren, to be a good influence to the people he coaches in our Legends program, is probably the thing I'll take to the grave as my greatest success in life. So it wasn't just Jackie though. Thankfully, during this program, we got to experience some tremendous examples of people understanding that they could live life physically independently. So Ruby, another client who still comes to the gym now, 9 years later, she wanted to keep up playing rugby. Imagine that, playing rugby in your 50s with rheumatoid arthritis and still wanting to be keen enough to do it. Tina, who just wanted to not fall over as much, and Phil, who wanted to travel without being a burden to everyone else. These are the real reasons why people train. People over 50, the real reasons why they want to come to the gym isn't to get a six pack. It's not to max out their deadlift. It's not to run a marathon. It's to live and age independently, to be able to not be a burden on other people, to be able to, if a friend calls and says, hey, do you want to go and do this hike, or do you want to go and do this trip, that they can do it without hesitation, and they can do it without feeling that their physical shortcomings are going to slow their friends or family down, or they're going to be a burden on other people. Now, the challenge is, as a coach, if you don't understand that, then you're going to miss an opportunity to help people in your local community. And that's, to me, this is the greatest opportunity we have as healthcare professionals, as fitness coaches, as strength coaches. The greatest opportunity we have now isn't with performance athletes. It isn't with people who are going to summit Everest. It's not coaching the quarterback of the class of 68. Our greatest opportunity is working with people in our local communities, grandparents, uncles, aunties, people who are looking down the barrel of the things that Jackie was suffering from: type 2 diabetes, or being pre-diabetic, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, things that unfortunately for the vast majority of us are habitual patterns that we opt into, that create these symptoms or create these medical conundrums that we find ourselves, or people find themselves in. Sadly, most of these are earned by our habits. And so our benefit as coaches is being able to help someone see the daylight, or see the sunlight through the cloud that presents to them. So once we understand that as coaches, once we understand that our job isn't to flog someone into the ground, the efficacy of your workout isn't the pool of detritus that the person finds themselves in on the floor. It's the ability of them to have more energy every day. It's the ability of them to be able to play with their grandchildren, to work in the garden for a couple hours without being absolutely buggered. Typical movements that we would see in the gym that we think we're going to put the barbell on our back or on the floor and smash ourselves silly with. The squat isn't a load-bearing exercise. It's an ability to get off the toilet without struggling. The deadlift isn't about maxing out and hurting your back. The deadlift is about being able to pick all your shopping up in one go. Things like proprioceptive work, balance work, they aren't just about fall prevention. But if you have a client who's over 60 and they have a fall that's serious enough to cause some harm to a major part of their body, like a fractured hip, like a broken femur, a more major injury, that person has a 15 to 30% chance of being dead within the next year from that injury. Not from the physical impact itself, but from the global impact that it has on that person, the doubt, the inertia, the fact that they now need to have to rely on other people, the fact now that their children might not trust them to live on their own, the fact that they feel like they're going to be dependent on other people to provide happiness in their lives, can kill people. And so I cannot impress on you enough that the privileged position we're in as strength and conditioning coaches to be able to help a larger portion of our population live a longer, healthier, happier life. So when we think about the sessions we run, if we're fortunate enough to be able to work with people over 50, we are not training for performance. We're training for physical independence. We're not training them for aesthetics or performance. When we frame it like that, a client's motivation will rise, their consistency will rise, and their trust in you as a coach will rise. The beauty of that rising confidence in us as coaches is that means the clients stay for years, not for months. As I mentioned before, Ruby's been training with me since 2017. It's now 2026. People don't stay for 9 years unless you create an environment where they feel safe enough to be vulnerable, and then that vulnerability allows them to grow. So the things I assess with a new client now aren't anything to do with performance. They're to do with can they get up and down off the floor unassisted? Can they carry all their bags from the car? Can they get upstairs without holding onto the handrail? Can they put something in a cupboard overhead without hurting themselves? Can they, and this is a tough thing for people under 50, but can they put their shoes and socks on standing on one foot, or without having to sit down, or without having to lean on something to do so. Because these are the real measures of life. Not how much they can lift, not how fast they can run, but can they live their life physically independently? Can they do things without assistance? Can they enjoy themselves in life without needing someone else's help? Because when you align your coaching with their motivation, everything changes. Motivation skyrockets, consistency skyrockets. They stay with us for years. And if they're going to stay with us for years, we have then the ability to change their life. And that, I can't think of any greater reward as a health or a strength or a fitness professional. I can't think of any greater reward than having the ability and the opportunity to help someone else change their life for the better.